more. But so Antonio, we were talking about the two main questions I had about doing printed orthotics, and you just relayed them to me. You have this printer that can print out basically it's 2 hours per orthotic, right? And then it has a conveyor belt, so and you just it has a link, right? Where one goes after one after another, right?
Exactly, Dom. So it's not actually 2 hours per orthotics. It's between 2 and 3 hours for a pair of orthotics. So it always depends, obviously, on the size, the thickness, the rigidity of the orthotics. You can vary those, and basically it will change the speed. But an orthotics can print under 1 hour. But to give you like a general idea, you can print between 6 and 10 pair of orthotics per day with the printer. But the real added value is you let it run, so you don't need to be there because it runs overnight 24/7. So on Friday, you finish your order and then you send them to the printer. And when you come back in the office on Monday, um, obviously you have all of these insoles ready, lying down just after the printer, so you can, finish them.
Now, we also talked, and then you have this pre-glued top cover that you can put right on, and then you just trim it and grind it down a little bit. How about because right now we use it's called well, there's two options. Older iPad, we have a structure scanner on it. Newer iPads don't need it, and so my staff has this thing, and it looks like almost like a plaster cast impression when you scan the foot. Is that a similar one that you guys use? And then do you have the prescription right on there, or do you have to go to a computer to do it?
No, it's a good question. So obviously we want to be as agnostic as possible. So Platform 3 is a software that, connect with any 3D scanning app. So we have built in our own 3D scanning app, which use the TrueDepth camera. So either an iPhone or an iPad, you can be basically using the front camera to be able to scan. On top of that, you can use also the structure sensor if you prefer, or add a mirror clip. All of these options are available and they are part of the software automatically.
Now, I'll tell you my frustrations with my current orthotic company. So I want to see if you have the same frustrations. Like one of my main frustrations is we sometimes like to use a topo shoe, which is an anatomic toe box. So instead of having a traditional, it's a wider anatomic toe box. And so we'll have to tell them, is there a way you can add like an anatomic toe box to the front of your top cover?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question, and something we hear a lot. Within the software, we wanted to make easy to do whatever modification you're looking to do. So yeah, we talked earlier about the med pad, the heel cushion, and everything related to that. But also when it comes to the design within the order form, you have the option also to go and select what is the width, what is the shape, what is the length of the orthotics. So all of these are presets within your order form. So once it's designed and ready to print, you just have to validate the design, and then it prints the exact dimension. So usually what I do in clinic is I just take the the footbed of the patient's footwear, and then I just measure it length, width, and then within the software it does it automatically once I enter the correct measurements. So when the orthotic is ready, it's ready to fit. So you don't need to do any trimming, you don't need to do any modification. I mean, the redo, or I don't know how you call that in English, but it's very, very low.
Very low redo rate. Yeah. So for me, like the main issue is, let's say the arch height is hitting too far proximal medial. There's no cutout for like the navicular tuberosity or like certain types of things, and I have to send it back, and then it's another 3 weeks to get them back in, or they just print another pair. So in this case, it's very, very few redos, right?
I mean, that you're just explaining basically the whole concept behind being able to produce internally within your own printer. So again, you have a patient leaving tomorrow for a trip. The orthotics can be ready in a couple of hours. And same thing apply if you want to do a modification. You don't need to send it back to the lab. So first of all, I got to say these orthotics you can grind them, you can eat them, you can modify. So the material that we have developed was specially made for foot orthotics. So to be able to modify them as much as you want.
Just like the same way I take a heat gun currently, and I increase the arch, lower the arch, things like that.
Yes, it is. I mean, in my opinion, it is mandatory to be able to do that. So that's why this filament, you can grind it, and it will stay. It will keep its like aesthetics also. But you can eat if you have like a pressure spot that you want to modify. You can do it right away. But also, like you mentioned, one of the other ability is you can simply reprint with some modification. It's going to take you 2 minutes. So you already have the scan. Sometimes, I don't know, you forget about a heel lift, you forget about navicular accommodation. All of these options are available within the form. So you just tap redo in the software, in the app. You select what you want and it will adjust it and send it to the printer. It's really as easy as finishing the order form. Instead of send to the lab, you will send to the printer and then the print will start.
And all with the same iPad app, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything that we do is web based, so it can be controlled from the mobile app that we offer, but also from any browser. So you can be anywhere and you can be looking at your printer while it's printing and also send and queue the order as much as you want.
Now, what it's just obvious because I don't have a 3D printer. Like if you run out of the whatever the plastic roll runs out, does it tell you when it's low? And like, does it stop? Does it keep printing? What happens when that happens?
Good question. I mean, it's all the thing that we thought of, so you don't have to worry about it. So the software, I mean, as a podiatrist myself, you don't want to get stuck into all of those. I mean, you don't want to have another equipment that you have to take care
It's going to
of.
give you
That
a
is,
pain in the butt. Like we have an ultrasound that broke, and now I can't do anything for 3 or 4 weeks.
yeah, that's exactly what we want to avoid. So everything from a mechanical, technical, technology point of view is automated. So if your filament is running out, there's a camera with AI looking at the print and basically will stop, tell you needs to be changed. But with one spool, you can print up to 25 pairs. So usually that's just a weekly maintenance that's going to take you like 10 minutes just to switch the spool. And then
Ah,
you're up and running for another one, another 25 pairs.
okay. And what's the life expectancy? I usually tell patients 5 to 7 years for an orthotic. How long do they
Yeah.
last in
So
terms of materials?
it's a good question. Obviously, it depends on how much they are wearing it, what kind of activity. These orthotics are much more similar to what we call EVA type of orthotics. So we call them in Canada like accommodative kind of orthotics. And usually they last between 3 and 5 years, I would say. On average, it's almost my patient, I would say 2 to 4 years. But again, can be more. I've seen some patients come back 5 years later and they still look good. But on average, it's 3 to 4 years.
And then do you do like a hybrid then? Like if you need a really like carbon graphite, really, really supportive one, do you ever send it to a
Yeah,
different lab? Like do a hybrid printed and
yeah.
lab?
Yeah, and that's I would say one of the strength of Platform 3 is even though we offer this in clinic 3D printer add-on, we are a software company. So same thing with the scanning, we are open, so you can take any scanning application, a platform scan, and whatever, and integrate it within platform. Same thing with the printer, and same thing with the labs. So what it output at the end is a 3D file that is ready to print. So either it sends it to your printer, but let's say you want to have another type of orthotics, like a rigid one, and you want it to be print with a SLS printer that you don't have in the house. The portal allows you to send it to whoever you want, and then you can have it printed by anybody else, like a colleague, a lab, or anyone within the same software. It's the same workflow. It's just at the end you decide which product you're looking for.
Yeah. And I guess the real question is, so currently I pay between 95 and 120 for an orthotic and
Yeah.
it has a nice top cover. Patients are pleased, few returns. What is the all like once you invest in the machine and stuff like that, what's the cost per orthotic for us to print?
Yeah. So we are a software. Like I said, we don't sell the printer. We don't make any cut on the printer. You can buy the printer on Amazon for $1,000. So in terms of investment, it's kind of a no-brainer because I mean, even with Amazon, you can send it back if you don't like it. So that's the first thing in terms of hardware. It's $1,000 investment. After that, when you count for filament and the software, depending on your volume, you're probably getting to around 20 to $25 per pair. That's what you end up paying for, including, like I said, the software, the filament, and everything.
It's neat because I had a friend, he was doing it, and so basically he did a, I think a lot of people are piecemealing things together. So what he was doing is doing a 3D scan and he sent it to some guy somewhere who rendered it into a
Yep.
3D printable image and so what I
Yeah,
like about it is like you've taken the piecemeal component and you put it all into one because I think you probably can do it on your own but I think it's the separate pieces. You could do it one at a time, but I like the conveyor belt idea, and I like the idea of it's all in one.
And I mean, you're totally right. And there's so many people who came to us and say, I can do it myself. And if you can do it yourself, I mean, good for you, because we don't want to replace those people who want to spend, hours taking the scan, treating the scan, cleaning the scan, handling for every specific cases, doing the CAD design manually, and then doing the slicing manually, send it to the printer. All of these steps combined, even if you're a good, technician, could take you about 15 to 30 minutes per pairs. I mean, are you more valuable doing something else? That's kind of the question we are asking. And you're totally right. What from the beginning, everything that we do is we build a workflow. It's as simple as that. You do the scan, and from the scan, you fill up the form, and from there, we make it as easy as possible to print whatever you envision as an end product. So it's really simple as validate your order and then send it to the printer and prints right away.
So basically, I have an iPad here. So basically,
Yeah.
I would hold the foot in subtalar joint neutral like I normally do. Staff would scan it. I would take the iPad, do the order.
No change for the scanning. No change for,
and then I'm done.
yeah.
Then I'm done with the workflow.
Yeah. So basically, everything that you're doing right now, working with a lab, it stays the same. You take the scan, you fill up the order form.
Online, on the app. On the app
or on the web. It's
okay.
up to you. It's a web browser. So on the app or online, it's really up to you. The only thing you have to do after that is the software will provide you with a 3D rendering of the orthotics. And the only thing you have to do at that point is validate that what you see is what you're looking for. That's it. It takes per order less than 2 minutes, basically. And then once you validate, you will send it to what we call a queue. And then all of the prints will be waiting for them. So when there's space on the printer, it will start the queue and then print your file. And then it's going to run and print once the queue is finished. And that's it.
That's cool. I think in terms of the practice management thing that I like is like people pay for speed. And so I think currently the challenge is the wait, the 3-week wait. And I think a lot of people, like you said, if they're going to go on vacation, if they want it right now, you could have one for ASAP, and you can do a rush charge, so how many, so tell me about some of your users. How many do they typically do? What's been their thought process, how it's working?
Yeah, so I would say so far we are into. I mean, the last time we counted, we are about 110 clinics in Canada and US. So most of these clinics, one of the main surprise they had, I think, at the beginning is a lot of people like you were doing like PP kind of orthotics, rigid shell, and then at the beginning they were not sure that they're going to be doing like a lot of these because they were saying maybe it's just for specific, either diabetic sports people. But I mean, the main surprise that we've seen is a lot of these people that they thought at the beginning they're going to be only doing like 30 or 40 pairs because, a lot of their volume went to, we're going to like rigid shell. They kind of switch and basically end up doing 70, 80 per month and then lowering their rigid shell because they really find that product is really, really good and patient like them and come back for this type of product. So on average, I would say most clinic do about 40 to 50 pair per month.
Mm-hmm. And so currently, I think we charge $600 for a pair. I think you guys probably charge more in Canada. In Massachusetts, insurance doesn't cover it. So I know people are going to talk. Can you get these reimbursed by insurance if you have insurance in the States? Probably. And then what do you guys charge? Is it a similar price, or is it probably the similar price?
It's very similar to what you mentioned, and obviously it's very different from states to states and clinic to clinic. But yeah, these are 100% custom made orthotic. I mean, they don't have to be seen as I would say like a cheaper or like another version of premium orthotics.
It's not like we sell an over the counter. It's not an over the counter because it's custom.
It's 100% custom made from the scan. The design is strictly done on demand for that scan each time. And basically, the added value is really everything that you've put on as a modification is making it even more custom. But to be fully transparent, if it's not you offering in clinic, the same setup would be used in a lab and then they would send you this as the end product, and you wouldn't even see the difference. It's not because you're
I see.
printing it that it's not less reimbursed by insurance,
Right.
because it's 100% custom made, and these are just a different way of producing it that is wasn't there like a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I guess the last question I have is I've looked at a lot of these forms that I fill out all the time, and like it has Kirby Skive, it has first rate cutouts, it has all these things.
Yeah.
Are all these going to be options on your form? And also, is there I know a lot of the labs have a orthotic expert. If there's a problem, you would call and they would help you to
Yeah.
troubleshoot stuff. How does that work?
Yeah, yeah, I like it. So obviously, it's a big part of my responsibility within the company. I don't do coding, so I'm not, the tech expert or the rest of the team. I mean, obviously, I work with software engineer in my team and so on. But my added value is really when it comes to how you take all of that knowledge but apply it to podiatry. And basically, what sets us apart in photo orthotics is the ability to do all of these modifications. So you have to have all of these options. And yes, I mean, you name a few, but all of what you can think as a modification, it can be like heel pad, it can be like a dome here. You could change the density. You can have cushion at the forefoot. You can have a heel lift. You can have medial flange. I mean, various forefoot. Anything that you can think of is really available. But what I think made us stand out is also the way that you can customize the order form for you. So if you're kind of people that the kind of person that want all of the options, they are all there. But if you want to have presets, you want to have some templates, the portal let you also build some templates, so you can just pre-select what you want. Let's call it like plantar fasciitis template, and then you can click it, one click order, and then if you want to still do modification, you can, but you have an option to go very fast and then preset everything that you want within the portal. So it's, I would say, great balance between simplicity, speed, but also giving all of the option when a case is needed where you want to think about it and then do all of these combined in a very, I would say, complex orthotics. So yes, all of these are available.
So before I get to my last question, just tell if you want to learn more about this company, everyone's kind of listening and we haven't talked anything about the name. What website should they go to learn more?
Yeah, so it's platform3d.com. So basically, if you go onto the website, you will, I mean, everything is very transparent, to be honest. You will even be able to look for yourself. It's called Calculate My Savings, and it will ask you a couple of questions about like how many pair do you do per month, what is the price that you're paying, what is your selling price, and then it will do all the calculation for you to tell you what's your breakdown. Like how many days or how many weeks it's going to take for you to repay for the printer, and what's going to be your margin, what's going to be your end year financial update with that printer. So, and it's going to give you a very good, overview of from a financial point of view, because obviously, I mean, everybody runs its business has to make sense. But also, if there's also any other question, I mean, I will personally answer all of those. And usually the first step that clinic that want to work with us are doing is you have an option to book a call with me. It can be like as short as 15, 20 minutes. Ask probably same question that you
Mhm.
asked, because, everybody has his own pain and reason why they want to do it. So you book a call, and then right away, usually after, I'm sending them over some samples, because you have to like the product, you have to feel it, you have to touch it, because compared to other, FDM printer and material, usually you kind of people are looking at product, it looks cheap, and that's what we wanted to change with that. It's something that feels really premium, some things that feel I would say rubber foamy kind of stuff touch, really, so you have to touch it. So the product, so yeah, how to get in touch, the website,
Okay,
my email, and then it's really easy to book a call with me.
that's cool. So and so I guess my last question, because I like marketing and business. So
Yeah,
there's something called, well, certainly going from 100 or even 120 down to 30 is a big win. You're going to save it, but I don't think it's on the money savings that's the benefit. I
yeah,
think the benefit
totally agree with
is
you.
on the ease of having it available in a day or two, where everyone else in your community it takes 3 weeks. So if you can say I can get
Yeah,
you orthotics same day or next day, I think there's a big factor. Like I think there's a and I think doing it first visit for patients, I think it's going to be a big thing. The question is now, as you've put this in a number of clinics, there are certain clinics that adapt quickly, and there are other clinics that don't adapt. And there's a certain thing called, what the heck's it called? Almost like there's a hump they have to get over, and then all of a sudden it just flows. So,
Yeah.
as a marketing person, what have you tried to do to help people get over that hump so then it just flows? And those that are hitting up against that hump and not going past that, what do you think the main issue is? They're not comfortable with it. They don't
Mm,
believe in the product. You know what I'm saying? That hump. There's a hump, and
yeah.
then all of a sudden they'll do everything.
Yeah,
What
and
do you
you
think that
mentioned
is?
in terms of adoption, you're
Yeah.
talking about. Oh yeah. So I mean, I think a lot of people, they think it's going to be complex. I mean, people are running their clinic. They don't have any time. I mean, they are struggling, all of the HR problem, everything that comes into running your clinic. And they think, oh, not another equipment that I'll take care of, not another
Hmm.
ultrasound that, and that's really what we have focused on, is making this workflow as easy as possible. So even like any secretary from desk assistant can do it, taking care of, putting on the filament, making sure that it prints. So it's really, really easy to use. And that's kind of the whole, and it's tough for me to explain it, how easy it is. Usually I have to show people, yes, that's the same thing that you've been doing, taking the scan, completing the form. It's just that instead of sending it away to a lab, you will just print it in out. So I guess to answer your question clearly, I would say that the people think it's too complex, or it's a very, you have to do like hundreds of orthotics per month to justify having your printer. The reality is that I would say even 10 pairs a month, you're going to be winning.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be able to offer something different. And that's something I want to bounce back, because I know you like marketing. Um, and what's striking is one of the clinic that we onboarded a couple of months ago, and he came back to me, and he told me that every patient that needs orthotics, he bring them, because he did put the printer in the waiting room. So instead of putting the printer in the back office, he put the printer in the waiting room, and every patient that waits to see the doctor see the printer printing pairs for other patients. So what do you think is the first question that they ask the secretary or the
How do I get a
the
pair?
podiatrist? I want a pair, or what is this? What is this? Oh, we're printing orthotics here. Wow, that's something you never heard of, and that's something very new.
It
And
reminds me of
basically,
the donut places where they make the donuts in front of you. You get to see them making the donuts. I think it's
yeah,
great.
yeah. I mean, and every time a patient needs the orthotics, basically, he told me. I mean, it's a funny guy. And basically, he takes the patient, takes the time to come look the printer and explain how custom orthotics are made. Because a lot of the time, explain to the patient is very quick. They got to understand that they have to pay X amount of hundred of dollar for something custom to them. What is custom? I mean, for most people, it's just something that is on demand. But custom is much more than that. It's, yes, it fits your heart, it fits your foot, but also all of the engineering thinking that goes behind the prescription, how it will change the way you walk, and basically having the patient look at the printer and printing your orthotics while you explain that, you kind of get what is going on
Hmm.
and what's the value of having something that is personalized. And yeah, so I
That's
guess
great.
from a marketing standpoint, it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty clever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, good.
makes
Well,
people talk about it
I
a
wish, I
lot.
wish you all the best, and thanks for your time and explaining a little bit more about it.
Thank you, Don. Thank you very much.